rub the head with a little stone, which is found in the nest of a swallow.
Okay.
Why?
Well,
If you have a tummy ache.
Yeah, the toothache. The bones of a man.
He wants man bone and dung from a dog who's been eating bones.
Yeah. Today's episode will be speaking about 200- and 300-year-old medical treatments. None of these are intended for modern use. Do not try this at home. Welcome, Aaron and Ryan. Today we're going to be going into the apothecary, maybe the doctor's office, and we're going to be talking about some medical treatments. Some of these are ones that might be suggested for people at home. Some of these are going to be a little higher level that the physician is going to be, giving to people. We have several different books here that I'll be reading from. This first one is Every Man His Own Physician. Now, this is for a doctor has written this for regular people to understand what kinds of things they can do at home. And a lot of people did their own medical treatment at home because it's expensive, right? So instead of paying for an expensive doctor's visit, you're gonna, pay a few shillings, 18 pence, and get this wonderful book to help you.
Covers the whole thing.
That's right. Yeah, an apple a day, right? Gripes. So this is for the griping of the guts.
Okay.
Have you got an idea about what griping of the guts is?
The rumbles and the tumbles.
Well, griping of the guts was a bad thing in the 18th century. It could be gastroenteritis, where you get a viral or a bacterial infection in the lining of your intestines. And, talk about the worst diarrhea you ever had. Today, a lot of people get it, they don't even know it. Like stomach flu, right? It's like, it's bad. It killed a lot of people in the 18th century. So for the gripes, take a half a dram of powdered rhubarb and toast it a little before the fire. And then take a little powder of ginger to it and mix it for one dose to be repeated on occasion as requires. So rhubarb and ginger.
And ginger.
And they're basically, if you're prone to get this, you're going to get this more often, probably.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting, generally gripes is probably, maybe it's, maybe they mean by these gripes that it's the opposite of diarrhea, because rhubarb is something that cleans you out. And the ginger will settle your stomach. So it'll kind of settle your stomach and flush you out.
Are they keen on, like, do they have terminology like bacterial infection? Do they understand that concept at all? Okay.
And even today, we don't necessarily, when somebody gets something like stomach flu, we use that as a very generic term, right? It might be this, it might be that.
Yeah, it could be viral or it could be bacterial.
Well, it makes you wonder if gripes meant both ways.
It could be. Maybe your just guts are causing trouble.
Why over the fire, though? Why heat it up?
Very good question. Yeah, toast it a little before the fire. I have no idea.
Is that just maybe it'll taste a little better?
I doubt it.
No.
I can't imagine, and it can't be much about drying it out because ginger is very wet too.
Well, yeah. So I don't know. We don't know.
Maybe we'll never know.
Quite likely. If you have a headache, right? So headaches are in here. You could apply leeches behind the ears, and take 20 drops of the tincture of castor in a glass of water frequently.
So that might cure your headaches forever.
So you're telling me all these years I've been taking Excedrin and
That's right.
Tylenol, I could have been putting leeches behind my ear.
Just a little leech behind the ear.
What a waste.
It might, it's like, is that it? Are you wearing earrings? No, just to have a headache. And
yeah, don't worry.
It's just a leech back there.
Why? I guess, what's the...
Well, it's very homeopathic.
Right.
Well, if you think about it, you get a headache. A lot of times that's probably, what does aspirin do? It thins your blood. It's like decreasing the blood pressure, I guess, in your head, or thins out the blood in your head. And the leeches can do some of that same thing. They'll take some of the blood away. And when leeches attach, they let out blood thinning things so that your blood runs faster.
So do you think there's a little bit of understanding as to like, well, we kind of know how to get rid of headaches.
No.
So the leeches are just, let's just try a leech.
You know, you can flip through a book and it's like, if this is wrong with you or this, and they're all very different.
Yep.
Bleed.
Right.
That's the answer.
That's
for
ancient,
everything.
right? Like just bloodletting.
Right. And we'll have a little bloodletting later on. Inflammations. Oh, take away 10 or 12 ounces of blood and repeat it as necessary, giving cooling purges and apply to the part that has the inflammation a poultice of bread and milk with some ointment of elder in it.
Are you talking like maybe an infected wound or something?
It quite likely might be that. So, I mean, you know, you're going to have inflammation for different reasons.
Yeah, I was thinking joints for some reason.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So-
Right.
Inflamed joints, put some bread and
Bread and milk
on
yeah,
there.
and you cover that up with a, you know.
I'm just so fascinated as to, are they just trying things out and seeing what sticks? But there's got to be some theory prior, right?
Right. Probably elderberry.
That's what I was thinking too. So is
Yeah.
it like extract? But it's not just juice, right?
No, I don't know. And we would have to look in a different book. Now, here's one that most people have sometime in their life, leprosy, right? So, okay.
That was not a fun 2 weeks.
Right, exactly. Leprosy. Now there are some nice parts in this one where it has the signs, how to diagnose if you have leprosy. Leprosy, red
This was
pimples.
flying under my radar.
Right.
Oh, that is.
Right. Leprosy, red pimples or pustules commonly first break out in the elbows and the knees, which gradually increase in such a manner that the whole body is covered with a leprous scruff.
That's how you know.
That's how you know.
Okay.
If you've got leprosy. I don't know what their leprosy really was.
Right.
Okay. Is this the original like WebMD where it's like I saw a pimple on my knee?
That's right. Wait, is this it? Yeah. Must be leprosy.
Yeah.
So you're not thinking this is like a biblical era leprosy.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. But the method to cure this sort of leprosy, take sharp-pointed dock roots, 1/2 pound, monk's rhubarb, 1/4 pound, stick licorice, and coriander seeds of each 1/2 ounce. Boil them in a gallon of spring water till it comes to 3 quarts. So you boil it a lot. And to the strained liquor, add 2 ounces of diaphoretic antimony. The dose is a pint every morning and evening.
Wow.
You're drinking a lot of this. Dock roots, I don't know. Rhubarb, again, probably a purge.
Yeah, but did it say monk's rhubarb?
Yes, it's monk's rhubarb.
Yeah,
I don't know
okay.
what monk's rhubarb is. I liked it. It had stick licorice in it. Maybe that's just to make it so you can.
And the stick licorice and coriander, I thought, well, they're just making like a syrup or
Right,
like
right.
a dessert.
Well, it's interesting, unless there's more to it. It's not something that you're putting on the spots.
Right.
You're taking this and it's
Yes.
going to internally do
Right.
something.
Right. It's a drink. Antimony generally is a purge also. It's meant generally makes you throw up.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
They even had the forever pill, a little antimony pill that you would take, and it would make you throw up, and you'd just keep it, right? You'd like, oh, I throw it up, and then you keep the
Oh,
pill, and then
really?
you'd clean it off, and you'd use it the next time you wanted to throw up.
Okay. The next time you wanted to.
Right.
Okay.
It's like, oh,
I'm
well,
ready.
To induce this.
Yeah.
It was very, very common. It's like it's like, oh, I'm sick. I probably need to throw up.
Right.
So they had many means of throwing up in our time period, which
But a
you know,
reusable
endless
pill.
options.
yeah, a reusable pill.
That's-
Just swallow it, throw it up. You could pass it down to the next generation.
See, whoever made that wasn't thinking about their wallet. They buy it once, they never need another.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And you know,
I would have made it in powder form.
That's an honest man right there. You only need
that's
one.
right. This is a recent find. This is the Kitchen Physician, or Guide for Good Housewives in the Maintaining of Their Families in Health. So this is meant for family use. In theory, put together, published by a doctor, but he only puts his initials
So you're buying this as a family to use
Right.
at the
In
at
theory, written by a doctor. Now, this is, I mean, after reading it, I'm not
Not sure.
really so
Are
sure.
his initials MD?
Yeah, right. And this is from 1680, so it's a little bit early, 17th century. But, you know, anybody would be able to go to the bookshop and it's like, oh, I need something on medicine. Well, this will help you out.
So
This is a top seller.
there's a potential this is a huge scam.
Oh, it's quite.
Or not potential.
I don't think there's a potential here.
Okay.
Let's see. This is recipe number 15: how to prevent the falling out of hair, and how to make hair grow.
Yeah,
Yes,
got
we're all
some,
like
yeah.
that.
So it keeps it in your head, but it also makes more grow.
Yeah, this will
Okay.
work either way.
or regrow.
Right. It's like, so keep it from falling out or make new hair grow. Rub the bare place with red cloth until it bleeds. Why red?
Because
We
you're going to
don't
bleed
know.
on it.
Yeah,
You want it
well,
to blend
possibly.
right in.
You just want to, well, you don't have to wash it. You can just keep using it.
It's like the vomit pill.
Right. Then rub it with a salve made of honey, flaxseed oil, powder of gnats, and roast these upon a tile.
Okay.
So that's it.
Are we talking gnat like the little bugs?
Yeah.
Powder them up.
Right. Your
put 'em
powdered
in honey.
gnats that are roasted upon a tile, and then you mix it with honey and flaxseed oil, which is linseed oil, basically.
Oh.
So you're scrubbing your
Right.
head till
And then
it
you
bleeds.
and then you put that on there.
And they cover it with honey.
Okay.
Right.
And then
Or
stick hair clippings.
if that one doesn't work,
Oh,
or possibly if
okay.
you don't have a bunch of powdered gnats, which I'm not sure how
Good,
you.
because I
Right.
don't.
In case you're running low on
I
powdered
don't think
gnats.
it would be different. When they're there, they're in
Well,
a swarm.
Yeah,
and
I
I'd
mean-
hate to use them on this.
This next one, right? You could
saving
use
them-
it-
I'm
saving those
Yeah,
gnats
yeah,
for something
yeah.
else.
Right. Now, but this one is one, but more than likely you have some of this ingredient, or rub it with a mouse turd and honey.
Does it say
Or-
mouse turd?
Yes. That's right.
That makes me so happy. That
T-U-R-D.
Yeah.
And the doctor wrote the word turd. I like
That's right. Well, he's writing it for regular people to understand.
Sure.
He didn't use. He's not using the Latin for that because
No.
you know,
Because
the
he's a doctor.
housewife-
He's a real doctor.
Right. He
Right.
might
would
know
do
the
that.
Latin for
And he
that.
wanted to write on the not to children. It didn't say poo poo. It
Right.
said turd.
That's right. So you mix this mouse turd with honey or with burnt nutshells, which are mixed with wine and oil. So, you know, we have multiple things in case your hair's getting a little thin. We got a fix for that.
For that one, do you still rub your head raw before you?
Yes.
Rub
That's
the mouse turds
First
on it
you rub
With
it with
a
the red
red
cloth.
Don't get it wrong.
This one is a different cure for a headache. This is inveterate headache. So migraines.
Yeah, we're
This
talking
is a
migraine.
migraine, and this is for the people.
Yeah, regular people.
He is a man of the people.
Right.
This doctor.
Yes, he is.
There's even something. So we roast in the ashes. So we have hot ashes in our fireplace. We roast in it a little piece of the outermost rind of an onion. Wet and sprinkle that with oil of roses or laurel berries. Put it into the ear on the side that the pain is in. It is also necessary to keep a good diet, which without all remedies are in vain.
Right.
So eat right, and
And then
put
shove this thing
in
in your ear, preferably down to the
drip-
eardrum if possible.
Right. Again, don't try this at home. A cure for the falling sickness. So if
Vertigo?
you've got I don't know exactly. We'd have to probably look that up. It's also called St. John's Evil.
Oh,
That's
Wait, the
falling-
cure is called that, or
No.
the disease?
The disease is also called St. John's Evil.
Okay.
So drink for 9 days together about a half of a drinking glass full of petty mullein or longwort, or the water, the flowers of a sycamore tree, or coriander, or the powder of peony seeds, 5 or 6 days together. Now, this is the next part. Or, this is for falling sickness, rub the head with a little stone, which is found in the nest of a swallow.
Okay.
So I always go looking in swallow nests and looking for little
Yeah.
stones. So in case they bring a little stone to their nest, that's a special curing
That's
stone.
the St. John's evil stone.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, the falling
Right.
sickness stone.
Or you can wear about the neck or on the finger a ring which has the claw of an eland that is enclosed in that.
That's
I'm
too
not-
bad. I thought it'd be a swallow, and you could just
Right, it'd
get
be
the
even
stone
better.
and the claw at the same time.
But don't let the claw eat into the flesh of the neck or the finger. So you want that to be there, but you don't want it to like
Sure.
dig in.
Well, that makes sense.
Which, yeah. Although it will be cured if you tickle or nip the neck under the great tooth, or if you anoint the lips with man's blood.
Okay.
It's just like, it goes on and on.
Is man's blood a man's blood? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
Like
Well, that's
mankind.
that's the easiest way to go.
Yeah. I
Right.
would just
Why
do that.
would you go to all the
Now,
trouble to find some...
What it's saying is the necklace. It's supposed to just kind of
Right.
rub.
Yeah, you don't want
You
to
don't
don't
want
want
to
to hurt.
Right, but just tickle.
But it's for the falling sickness, and I've never had falling sickness, so...
Well, I have.
Well.
I've fallen down a lot.
Well, I would
actually,
look for the
with-
little stone.
These things in the time period, there was no like peer review study. You couldn't have somebody reach out and go, "This don't do this." I just
No,
it was just kind of
there's
like, "Here's
no
a book."
regulation
It's written in a
whatsoever.
book.
Right? How could it be wrong?
Yeah,
It's written in the book.
Guys, yeah.
Right.
I would read this one, but it's just not safe for. I'll read it for you anyway. Cut this one out, okay?
To make ashes of the. Listen. Why?
Well,
If you have a tummy ache,
Yeah, the toothache.
against any hurt by swallowing down horse leeches. So if you've swallowed a horse leech by accident,
Right.
probably, or maybe,
Hopefully.
maybe as a joke,
well,
right, or a
that's
bet.
when you grab your vomit pill and you go.
Right.
I
That's
carry
easy.
it on me at all times,
Right,
just
so-
for such an occasion.
And even if the leech swallows your vomit pill, you can still get it
Right,
back
right.
and use it.
So
it
give
really,
Sorry,
it's a miracle.
you give that person to drink wood lice,
Oh, here
which
we
is
go.
those little pill bugs, with strong vinegar. Now, what happens if a serpent has crept into the body of anybody who's asleep? Maybe having their mouth open.
Right.
Now what do you do?
That is probably my worst nightmare. I've never thought of that.
But as of right now,
But yeah, it's the new number one.
no.
Nothing is better than to receive through a funnel in the mouth the smoke of an old shoe sole. Or, in case you...
Yeah.
So, and this is a leather shoe sole, not a rubber shoe sole.
But it can't be a new one.
No.
Now, in case you don't want to
An
waste
old
a
one.
shoe,
You don't want to wait. You want to use an old shoe.
Yeah.
Right? Or drink a concoction of iron herbed boiled in white wine. So there you go.
so one is burn
The smoke of a shoe
the
sole.
smoke of a shoe sole,
Right.
or
Right. An iron herb. I don't know which kind of plant this is, but a particular kind of plant.
well, I'm not one to argue with the doctor.
Right.
You know,
Now,
The good doctor.
yeah, the good doctor, MD.
what if you have eaten bad mushrooms?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Probably
that's a bad thing. That
Probably
can still
common.
happen.
It can happen all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Bad mushrooms. There's nothing you can fix. Usually they damage your organs, and there's no fix for it. But here he seems to think that you drink honey vinegar with pounded hen's dung, and you shall presently be freed from any harm or suffocation of the stomach. Or you can drink lye made from vine branches, so vine branches with a little salt. Here's the cure for the griping of the guts here.
Okay.
So we had griping.
Okay. Well, this one's got to be more accurate, I'd say.
There is nothing better, that's what he says,
Not one thing.
there is nothing better than to carry about a ring or a little silver box in which is enclosed a small piece of the navel of a newborn child. Or, no. Wait, You can carry it about, but you want to let the ring touch the flesh.
Okay.
So the ring has the
This is like the claw. from
small
earlier.
piece, yes, the small piece of the navel of the newborn child, and the ring has that in there, and you let the ring touch, not the navel, but the ring.
Don't get it wrong.
And
Right.
don't make a ring out of the navel.
No. Also, let the patient during the pain drink a small draft of the best white or red wine. Well, I mean,
That goes without saying.
right.
So
right.
when he says navel,
Yes.
we're talking
Umbilical
dried umbilical cord.
Yes.
Right.
Hold on to that thing.
Right. It's good
So-
for who knows what.
Yeah. Good
And-
for what ails you.
Yeah.
Anybody who's had a child knows what that thing, before it
Yeah.
falls off, looks like.
It's get it away as soon as it falls off. Get it as far away from this house.
But now
And this
you
guy's
know
saying,
it's
"Keep it."
secure.
I think that he talks about rings a lot.
Yeah.
He might be
Yeah.
a jewelry
What is
maker,
this
too.
guy? Rings and necklaces and hanging on your neck.
I think that he's got some other side business.
Yeah. This is
no
one of
doctor.
yeah.
This is the village jewelry maker, and he's trying to get rid of swallows and sell some jewelry.
What are we going to do for the bloody flux?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
I asked myself that many times.
If you got the bloody flux, you want a fix for it, let me tell you.
Immediately, please. Yes.
So,
I don't think that's a controversial
yeah,
statement.
against the bloody flux, give the sick red wine to drink, dried powder of hare's blood, and powder of man's bones.
Wow.
So we're getting into some questionable territory here.
So
Right.
the
Right.
powder of the blood of a hare
Right,
and powder of man's bones
right.
with
and
some red wine?
red wine, and I'm not done yet.
Oh.
We're going to add some more.
But this is and, not or.
This is and dog's turd.
Of course.
Not poo poo. Dog's turd.
And
This is for-
it can't be any dog turd.
Oh.
The dog having fed 3 days on bones only. So
Okay.
he's been eating bones. And then after the bones are processed in the dog,
We need some collagen. This is what's happening here.
The bones of a man.
He
though.
wants man bone and dung from a dog who's been eating bones.
Yeah. Let these be dry
Uh-huh.
and made into a powder. And then this you feed them twice a day for 2 or 3 days. And when they're dead, you can bury them. No. It says- and then it says, with milk, so you put this in milk wherein fiery flintstones have been quenched.
Wow.
So you take the Flintstones, not the cartoon. You take the
Yeah.
Flintstones, you heat them up like a sauna, right? And you put them in there and it warms the milk up. And then you stir in your dried
Right.
stuff.
Why not just heat the milk up?
Well,
It's got to be heated
you
this
want-
way.
You have
you've
to
got to
do
have the
it just
organic
so.
material that is on these stones.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because they're flint,
Okay.
right? It's a certain kind of...
Let me see if I. Is
But
that it?
don't use a toddy rod.
Right. The next one's an ore, so...
Okay, so let's walk through this. Let me see if I remember all this. So you need the blood.
Well, first you have red wine.
Okay, red wine, the blood of a hare,
Dried,
a rabbit,
right?
just the
Rabbit's blood.
ground bones
the powder.
of a man,
Apparently not any bones will do.
not any bone, and then
Dog
feces
turd, yes.
from a dog that has only had bones for the last
Right.
3 days or
right.
a week.
3 days.
3 days,
Right.
and then you
Dry that out.
dry that out, and
Make it all
then
into a powder.
put it in the milk that's heated by stones.
Put it again. Hot rocks, yeah.
Okay.
Don't try this at home. Of wounds by a bullet. So
Very
you got a
common.
problem with a bullet wound, which, we all have at
If
time
you're
to
still
time.
alive, because that's.
Well, that kind of goes without saying.
Oh, I'm just saying that not many people survived a bullet wound in the time period, right?
Well, not when they use this method, no. If the bullet sticks in the wound and you want to get it out, which,
If you want to.
If you do.
right.
If you want to keep it, I understand.
I'm still laughing about you saying, well, that goes without saying.
You're right. Make a tenth of quince apple or of marmalade, anoint with oil and eggs, and put it into the wound. And out pops that bullet. I don't know.
I'm wondering what the...
Maybe it creates such an infection that it just
shoots the bullet out.
It lifts it out.
I don't know.
So what is it? A marmalade? And
Yeah. Well, a quince apple. So, yeah, a tent of quince apple or marmalade. So, you can mush it all up and, make a poultice of quince apple or a marmalade of it.
Okay.
These are not jokes. These were printed. These are real. Somebody probably tried all these things.
Oh, wow.
So I think we're all in agreement that this probably was not a real doctor.
There are different people writing books in the time period that are just writing them to make money. Mm-hmm. And it could be one of those books sold in the marketplace to unwitting people who thought that it's like, yeah, okay, I'll try that.
And like you said, none of this is regulated or anything like that.
No. There are not too many straight out and out poisons that are listed here. A lot of gross things, but not a lot of mercury.
That's interesting.
Or, you don't see straight up poisons put in here.
But it also could be just because they know that people recognize things that are poisonous.
No, they were using those things in that medicine of the time period. So mercury was a common ingredient. Lead was a common ingredient.
Maybe that's even another indication that it's not a doctor.
Right.
Well,
He would have put more poisonous stuff
Well,
in
I wonder if it's this guy who's writing this is like, okay, I can get away with just enough. I can't put anything that's, that serious in there. But yeah, why not? Why not put an apple in a wound? What's that going to do?
Mm-hmm. Except keep them from getting real treatment, right?
Well,
sure,
also,
but at least he sold his book.
he had you eat every kind of animal bone you could
That's
imagine.
true. That's true. Dried, though, to be fair.
If you're interested in books of the time period, whether they're medical books or cooking books, make sure to check out our website. There's a whole category of those. You can find a link down in the description section. I want to thank Aaron and Ryan for coming in to discuss these things. We can kind of, wrestle over these ideas. Truth is stranger than fiction. When we dig into the books of the time period, it's much weirder than anything we would see on, a television or movie. It's just really interesting and crazy bizarre sometimes. So thank you so much for coming along with us today. Thanks for watching.